We're going to take that discussion forward with Mohit Malhotra, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Godrej Properties, who joins us now. It was a very strong performance that they saw in the quarter gone by. Highest ever quarterly collections at almost 2,700 crores. Best ever quarter for sales. Mohit, good morning and thanks for joining us. First, on this rate hike that was announced yesterday, just wanted your thoughts. Will this affect consumer demand in any way, or you don't think so?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the compliments. I think this rate hike would have a marginal impact on consumer because the EMIs would go up a little bit. But would it, disrupt the overall positive demand cycle which has got generated in real estate? My answer is that it won't disturb it. It's a very marginal increase. I do expect, a further rate hike sometime in future, but I think, even if there's a 100 basis point rate hike, the EMIs for a 1 crore loan typically goes up between 5,000 to 6,000 rupees per month, which, given the way incomes are rising, is something which consumers can absorb. Also, we have to also remember that this has been almost 9 years of down cycle in the industry. Prices are at all-time low. Affordability is extremely good. So I think overall, one could expect some more rate hikes, but I think the overall cycle is on a very positive swing.
Mohit, you're saying so basically up to 100 basis points, there should be a little impact on demand.
Yeah, I think if you look at how the income levels have risen over the last 8-10 years, typically people's incomes have grown by 10% on an average. So I think the rate hikes can be absorbed. We are at a historically lowest ever rate levels now. So I think there is a room for us to absorb these shocks, and I don't think it will derail anything which is going on in the industry today.
Okay. Your booking volumes are very strong, especially in the quarter gone by in Q4. Wanted to understand from you this 4.2 million square feet that you sold in Q4. Is this a sustainable run rate? What does the first half of the year look like?
Yeah, I think we are quite, we look at, sales in terms of value, less in terms of volume. So we sold around, 3,250 crores of stock last year in Q4. I think this year again is something we are very bullish. We feel, this would be again a record year with tremendous growth over the last year. Difficult to give a quarter-on-quarter guidance, especially with so many things linked to approvals. But we have a strong pipeline of launches planned in quarter 1 itself.
Okay. Can you give us a little bit more details on what the launches are that you've planned in the first quarter of the year? And also you have targeted 10,000 crores of sales in FY23. Will a large part of it be via joint ventures, plotted developments? What is the launch pipeline looking like?
Yeah, we have a strong launch pipeline. Again, difficult to give guidance in our industry. So much is linked to government approvals coming on time. But we would aspire to cross the number which you mentioned. It will be a mix of plotted developments, group housing development projects which we are doing and spread across the country. So very healthy pipeline. In quarter 1, we have already launched, projects in Mumbai, 2 projects in Mumbai. We are going to launch, our Connaught Place project in NCR. We have upcoming projects in Pune, which we are planning to launch in Q1. And our existing launch of Bangalore is already underway. We started in Q4, but is going very strong even in Q.
Mohit, good morning. The April property registration data did show some dip, though of course a lot of people say that's because a lot of people hurried their registrations in March because of that 1% tax which was being the metro tax which was being levied. Part number 1, that, and part number 2, the real estate cycle has been on a real upswing, but a lot of people say that that's also because a lot of equity money, the equity bull market money, has flown into real estate. That happens with a bit of a lag, and the last 6 months have been quite poor for equities. So is there a risk that over the next 6 months or so we see a bit of an impact of that on property market as well?
Yeah, I think overall, if you see, real estate it's been 9 years of down cycle. So we need to remember the context of where we stand. If you look at 2012, the industry volumes are down by almost 40% from the historical highs. So that's the first context. The second context is, when you're looking at our own sales, almost 80 to 85% of sales are by end users. So investors still haven't come back in the real estate sector, despite maybe a slightly slower returns in equity market. So currently, it's all end user market, very strong demand from end consumer, which is fueling the industry growth. I think if investors come back into the market, obviously it will give a very strong impetus to the growth for the industry. So it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, it hasn't happened yet. All right. Then one final word then. Will there be any more price hikes, A, to pass on the higher commodity prices, which was, I think, done a while back as well, and B, because of what we're seeing in terms of, this whole inflationary situation, the rate hikes as well, do you see price escalation in the near term?
We actually, did give a price hikes across our portfolio in Q4 itself, between approximately around 5% on an average across projects. That was done to mitigate, the high inflation which has been hitting us on commodity side. I think there will be marginal price hikes. We have already taken, a small percentage of price hikes again in April to mitigate inflation risk. I think that kind of price hikes, which is purely to mitigate inflation risk, is something which consumers are accepting and absorbing. So I think as long as we don't see any irrational price hikes, I don't see any issue for the industry.
Okay, all right. Mohit, all the best. Thanks a lot for joining us, and all the best for the year. They say they have a strong pipeline of launches, and FY23 could be a record year for the real estate sector. Highest ever quarterly collections in the quarter gone by. That's a space that has been extremely bullish for the last many weeks and months. Let's slip into a quick break. On the other side,